Well, Bill and Sade, accepting a plea agreement would mean that Sean Combs would have to admit to trafficking and force. And today he made it very clear that was not going to happen. Diddy maintained all along these encounters involved consenting adults and plans to take his chances that a jury agrees.
Well, it's not up to me. It's up to Mr. Combs, and I don't see it happening.
Why?
Because he believes he's innocent. He believes he's innocent. And what's more, he believes that he needs to stand up, not just for himself, for his family, and for everybody who's been targeted by the federal government.
The legal storm surrounding Sean Diddy Combs just hit a new level, and the latest shockwave involves someone closer than anyone expected. As the music mogul gears up for a massive trial, whispers have turned into a thunderclap. Reports suggest his own son could be cooperating with federal prosecutors. It's an unthinkable twist, pulling back the curtain on secrets held deep within one of entertainment's most powerful dynasties.
Back up a little bit, please.
How can you support your father? How do you support him moving forward?
I literally took one sip of my beverage and the whole side of my face felt like I had a stroke.
Isn't that, to my mind, that's one of the bigger hurdles in selecting a jury this coming week, is that there is, at least anecdotally, and, when I talk to people, they have that opinion, strongly held opinion, that there's celebrity tapes, that they've kind of conflated Epstein, and you mentioned Ghislaine Maxwell and all of these things into Diddy. There's this idea that somehow this is Epstein redux or something.
Whispers began circulating after court documents included a sealed memo hinting at powerful testimony from a family member. But it didn't stay a mystery for long. Sources close to the defense team have reportedly identified the mystery witness as none other than Diddy's eldest son, the 27-year-old rapper Christian Combs, known as King Combs. Prosecutors allegedly believe Christian holds direct explosive knowledge about his father's inner circle, everything from private jets and exclusive guest lists to the hush-hush money transfers connected to Diddy's infamous parties in the Hamptons and Miami.
What made you come here to support Puff?
I'm supporting Puff because he's innocent, and I'm wholeheartedly believing his innocence, and I know he's innocent. So
You say you know he's innocent?
1,000%.
Mr. Combs feels A, he's innocent, which is why he's not going to plead guilty. B, he's going to be truthful about this case because he wants to portray that to the people who have loved him his whole life. And I think he also feels an obligation to people in general. Maybe it's Black people, maybe it's white people, maybe it's anybody who's ever felt aggrieved and targeted by the government. He feels an obligation to those people to say, you know what, maybe I can break the model. Maybe I can show the world that a Black man can win, in federal court. And I think he probably is the only person I know of who might be able to actually accomplish that.
And when the judge did, Diddy, who was sitting at the defense table with his attorneys, did not show any signs of emotion. He took a sip of water before he was led out of the courtroom by the U.S. Marshals. Now, his lawyers have vowed to fight this. They are going to be back in court on Wednesday before the judge who will oversee this trial and try to get Diddy to be released.
These weren't just any gatherings. Events spanning from 2015 to 2022 now sit at the heart of the high-stakes investigation, aligning with the alleged activities laid out in last year's jaw-dropping legal filings. Legal experts are calling this potential development a game-changer. A former assistant U.S. attorney stressed that close family testimony is incredibly rare and powerful, especially in complex cases like this. Meanwhile, Diddy has reportedly rejected a plea deal, and his legal team is signaling they're ready to battle every accusation.
Both sides expect to have all of this done in the matter of 3 days. Now, given just how high profile this trial is, I was kind of stunned that they seem very confident that they will be able to seat a jury in that amount of time.
What happens is if people go into a trial believing the firepower on the prosecution is so strong, I mean, let's say on a scale of 1 to 100, it's a 95, that it's so strong, but it goes down to an 88. that helps the defense because everybody goes in thinking, wow, they're going to prove this, and they're going to prove this, and they're going to prove this, and all of a sudden, none of it's there. I think that actually helps the defense.
The pressure on Christian reportedly ramped up fast after Homeland Security agents raided Diddy's mansions in Los Angeles and Miami back in March. Those dramatic sweeps seized phones, laptops, and detailed financial records. Insiders suggest investigators pulled critical information from at least 14 devices, including father-son conversations that prosecutors now want confirmed through live testimony in court. Christian hasn't been charged with anything himself, fueling speculation that his cooperation could be a move to distance himself from any potential legal blowback.
The last hearing before Sean Combs' trial starts, when he walked into federal court today, he appeared to be looking for his family. They've pretty much been at all of the hearings that I've been to, but there was no presence of his sons or his mother or his sister who had previously been at those hearings.
Do you still think that, because there is this public perception, that there are celebrity tapes involved in this case?
No.
Do you still think that there are minors involved in this case?
I'm certain no.
Okay.
And again, when you say this case, we're talking the criminal case.
The criminal case.
In the
correct.
criminal,
I know that.
In the criminal case,
in
the criminal case,
right.
no.
Digging deeper, messages allegedly pulled from an encrypted app reportedly show Christian involved in organizing luxury charter flights, flying high-profile guests to private, all-white parties in the Hamptons. There were also wild late-night yacht bashes in Biscayne Bay. Prosecutors claim these flights, allegedly funded by a tangled web of shell companies linked back to Bad Boy Entertainment, are key to proving Diddy ran a coordinated operation, using employees to move people across state lines for alleged illegal reasons.
Back up a little bit, please.
How can you support your father?
Head up, Tim.
How do you support him moving forward?
Y'all know what this is about. Put your heads up.
At trial, Combs will ditch the jail garb and wear ordinary clothes, as his lawyers argue the evidence shows consenting adults being intimate in their own way.
We have the latest from federal court in the Sean Combs criminal case. Status of jury selection, what Diddy's going to be wearing, violation of a gag order, rejecting a plea offer.
First, the court has to decide whether Christian's cooperation.
Of course, Diddy's legal team is firing back hard. They argue the private jet simply carried celebrities to normal industry parties and vehemently deny any shady intent. In recent court filings, the lead defense attorney slammed the government for allegedly weaponizing family ties, calling the idea of pressuring a son to turn on his dad a new low in celebrity trials. He even pushed the judge to examine the sealed testimony before opening arguments began, but the judge reportedly decided to wait. Christian's team has remained publicly silent, citing legal restrictions, but sources close to him have reportedly confirmed he met with prosecutors multiple times in early April.
Diddy's lawyers had argued that he had made good faith efforts by showing up in New York, ready to surrender to face these charges, but prosecutors said that he could not be trusted, that he has a history of trying to intimidate witnesses, including some who are going to be witnesses in this case. They urged the judge to remand him.
He knows the deck is stacked against him. They've got a ton of evidence. Take the plea deal, dude. Just take it.
Well, my guess is that, because we don't know the deal of the plea deal. At least I don't think we do.
True.
Okay.
Then came another bombshell. Newly unsealed financial ledgers dropped like a bomb, revealing Sean Combs allegedly funneled at least $74 million through a shadowy network of 17 shell companies between 2016 and 2023. Prosecutors argue these complex transactions are central to the serious accusations headed to trial. Forensic accountants working for the government reportedly spotted identical five-figure withdrawals made just hours before certain invite-only events, the same events court documents label as high risk. And here's where it links back directly. Two invoices reportedly show Christian Combs signed off as the internal approver for yacht rentals and catering costs. This explosive detail appears to put his name directly on the money trail, potentially linking him deeper into the cooperation now unfolding. The financial heat didn't stop there. agents reportedly served a supplemental warrant at JP Morgan Chase, pulling records tied to DeLeon Tequila's marketing dollars, flagging a massive transfer that allegedly funded a private jet charter tied to one of those notorious parties.
That will test whether one of music's most prolific figures used his power, wealth, and fame to exploit both women and men for decades.
Elaborate, sometimes days-long parties by coercing victims through drugs, threats, and manipulation. They claim to have video evidence, and some of the accusations echo details from over 70 civil lawsuits filed against Combs over the last 30 years.
Major developments tonight involving the case against Sean Diddy Combs, what he decided in court today, and what this now means, the move coming just 4 days before his trial is set to begin. Here's Aaron Katursky.
The financial twists kept coming. The ledgers also showed millions in donations to various charities, including major universities. Sounds generous, right? Not so fast, say prosecutors. They claim some of those large donations were followed by matching withdrawals from Diddy's personal accounts, implying he may have used charity moves to quietly refill his own pockets, a maneuver one former investigator called circular financing. The potential witness list is also stacked with others who could corroborate details, including former aviation staffers reportedly ready to testify that flight logs were wiped clean of passenger names before audits, a practice they were allegedly told was for VIP privacy. These financial details and witness accounts are adding layers to the case, with the judge even scheduling rare weekend arguments showing just how tight the timeline is.
Tonight, Sean Combs makes it official. He's rejecting the government's offer to plead guilty and spare himself the possibility of a prolonged term in prison. When asked if he turned down the offer, Combs answered, "Yes, I do, Your Honor," as he stood in a baggy beige jail uniform. Terms were not disclosed, but prosecutors did say a plea could result in a shorter sentence for Combs than if he's convicted.
Federal trafficking, racketeering, and charges beginning Monday morning.
Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs back behind bars, a magistrate judge denying him bail, saying that there were no conditions that she could conceive of that would make her confident that he would appear again for other court appearances. The judge saying, "My concern is this is a crime that happens behind closed doors."
It's going to be such a massive trial, like maybe the biggest Hollywood trial. God knows which way it's going to go. Is it going to go on for weeks?
For sure, weeks.
All eyes are locked on Monday, when jury selection is set to begin in Manhattan. The unsealed financial ledgers and the potential bombshell of Christian Combs' testimony offer the clearest glimpse yet into how prosecutors plan to argue Diddy's music. Money may have blurred into illegal territory. This trial, already shaping up to be a defining moment in celebrity accountability, will kick off with a spotlight squarely on family loyalty, complicated finances, and the uncertain future of a once untouchable empire. The question hanging heavy in the air, will the son take the stand against the father, and what will be revealed if he does?